In this video, I'm going to show you how to personalize your cold emails at scale. But first, let me introduce myself. My name's George. I'm the founder of Email Chaser. Now let's get into the video. For a lot of beginners, they struggle with the concept of personalizing their cold emails at scale. If you're sending manual cold emails, then obviously you can write each email for each lead, and that's quite basic. But what happens when you want to send thousands of emails through a cold email automation software like Email Chaser? How are you going to make sure that all the emails that you send seem personalized for the leads that you're contacting? A lot of people might be thinking you can just use some kind of AI tool which will add in some AI generated first line. And although that technically is a way of doing this, I recommend that you don't do that because it's probably going to decrease your response rate, since these AI first line tools often make your cold emails look AI generated. And as a result, your response rate decreases because no one wants to respond to an AI generated email. Instead of doing that, the best way to make your emails seem personalized at scale is by segmenting your lead lists into relevant lists based on different criteria. And then you write your email around that list so that you can tailor the copy in a very specific way so that when your prospect receives the email, even though you didn't write that one email just for them, since it's also being sent to all the other prospects in that list, it still seems like it was written just for them because it's so specific. The mistake that a lot of people make here is they will segment their lead list into something like industry, job title, location. So they might say something like, hey, I noticed that you're the CTO of whatever company. Or they might say something like, hey, I noticed that you're working in the legal industry, and all of the leads in their list might be in the legal industry. And the problem with that is that there's still no real relevance in terms of the lead needing your product or service. Just because you mention to a lead or a prospect where they work or what kind of industry they're in or what location they're in doesn't mean that they're actually in need of your product or service. So what you really need to do is make a list of people that have already performed an action that implies that they need your product or service, and then you write your email around that action. So that action could be some kind of trigger. And as you can see on my screen, I'm showing you an article that I wrote for Email Chaser's blog. And in this article, I show you how to personalize your cold emails at scale. And you can see that this is basically a 4-step process I follow. So the first step, where it says build your lead list around an event trigger action, that's what I'm just talking about now, where you want to identify some kind of event which, when it occurs, means that all of the leads that event is impacting implies that they are going to need your product or service. So for example, in this article, I give a couple examples. One is Email Chaser has a campaign where every single time someone adds their email accounts to one of our competitors' warm-up pools, we automatically scrape those email accounts and then find the email address of the owner of each business and then send them a personalized cold email at scale, of course, basically saying something along the lines of, hey, saw that you're using this company's warm-up. We are better for XYZ reason. Do you want to try our tool? And that works really well. We have a very high positive response rate. And another example of this in terms of how you can personalize your cold emails at scale in a relevant way is mentioned down here, where let's say you're a recruitment company and you help other companies hire people for their teams. Maybe you can create a campaign where every single time a company posts a job ad on LinkedIn Jobs, you can reach out to the hiring manager for that company and say something along the lines of, hey, notice that you posted a job ad for whatever position. I have someone available. Do you want me to send you their resume? So again, that's another example of making your cold emails seem personalized at scale. In both of these examples I just gave you, I'm not manually writing the email for each lead. I have thousands of leads in those campaigns, but because each lead shares a similar characteristic in terms of the event or trigger that occurred. For example, every single lead signed up for one of our competitors' warm-up tools, or every single lead is someone that just posted a job ad on LinkedIn Jobs. Because all of these leads share some kind of characteristic or event, I can tailor my copy around those events so that when I send those emails at scale, it still seems personalized and it's going to have a very high response rate. And the key is not just to personalize your emails, but to make your personalized emails seem relevant. So whatever you're saying in terms of that personalized sentence, it still needs to be relevant to your offer. So if someone signs up for one of our competitors' email warm-up tools and I contact them about Email Chaser, my message is relevant to them because obviously they sign up for a warm-up tool, they're sending cold emails, and they might want to try Email Chaser, which is a cold email software. So that personalization in terms of my messaging being relevant to them is really important. And then if I just continue down this article, you'll see that the second point is write your copy around this event trigger action. And that's what I just explained in terms of making your copy relevant around the trigger action. And then the third point is adding a custom variable. So for people who've sent cold emails before, this might be extremely basic, but in case you've never sent cold emails, a custom variable is a way that you can add, for example, the first name for each lead automatically. Because imagine you launch a cold email campaign in a tool like Email Chaser. Maybe your CSV file has 1,000 leads in it. You don't want to have to manually change the first name for each lead as it's sending those emails. So instead, when you write your email in the campaign, you simply add a first name custom variable, and then it will automatically insert the first name for each lead, because when you're creating that campaign, you have to upload your CSV file to the campaign, and your CSV file contains all of the leads, and one of the columns in the CSV file is the first name column. So if you've never done that before, it might sound confusing, but it's actually very simple. And all you have to do is sign up for an Email Chaser account and click the Create Campaign button, and it's quite self-explanatory. And then finally, the fourth part here in this article is just launch your campaign. So that's very obvious. You just click the Launch Campaign button. And if you use a tool like Email Chaser to send your cold emails, because it's an automation tool, you will send all of your emails in the campaign on autopilot, so you don't have to sit there manually sending each email. You just click the Launch Campaign button once and it'll send them. So that is how you're able to scale your email outreach and still maintain a sense of personalization without looking like AI wrote it and then getting a low response rate. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this about cold email, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope to see you in the next video.